The truth occurs. Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. Well, I was doing some internet research and something really interesting came up, so I just want to share it with you. I just want to say thank you for your support on Patreon. It really helps because I basically can't run ads on any videos that I make that I find interesting. I can only run ads on the boring ones. So thank you for supporting me on Patreon so I can make more interesting videos. I'd like to give a shout out to my partners at purifierpouch.com. You just put the pouch down and it destroys viruses, bacteria, fungus, mold in the air. Basically like whatever's making your house smell. This will get rid of the smell and it lasts up to 2 months. Click the link below for more information, and if you order through the link you get 15% off and free shipping and handling even if you live in Canada. So you know how all the vaping related illnesses had been in the States? So of course it's on my radar. I'm waiting to see, is it going to happen in Canada? So I'm here hanging out, reading, scrolling, and something pops up, catches my interest, which is this. It finally happened in Canada. Well, something happened. This Calgary teen's lung collapsed because of vaping. Well, so says the title. Here's the poor girl. Well, I'll tell you what happened. This 18-year-old girl who had been a smoker had switched to vaping, thinking it's okay. She vaped a lot of pods, Salt Nick, 50, And then one day she took a hit off her vape and she collapsed. Well, actually her lung collapsed. Something like that. Anyway, she ended up in the hospital with a collapsed lung. Had some treatment, lung starts to reinflate, then it collapsed again. So this article here, it's basically saying like, this girl just vaped a normal pod, her lungs collapsed, don't vape. Okay, but me being the kind of person I am, I need to know like the details, Like this really caught my attention. And I was like, oh yeah, it's the first girl in Canada, first teen in Canada that like had a serious injury from vaping and there's no cannabis involved. So I'm thinking there's one of three possibilities. Either she's lying and she was vaping cannabis, or she wasn't buying her pods, where she said she was. She was buying them online and they're black market and there's something in them. B, it had nothing to do with vaping. She just randomly had a collapsed lung. Or 3, she literally got a collapsed lung from vaping. So, which is it? So I found another article. Okay, so I found this other article from CBC, and there were more details here. What caught my attention was this one, was health experts say it's still too soon to know whether vaping is a risk factor for spontaneous pneumothorax. See, that's the operative word. That is the medical condition that she had. As opposed to all the cases in America where it turned out they had lipoid pneumonia. She vaped and she got spontaneous pneumothorax. From the second that we were in emergency right until her discharge, they talked about vaping. They talked about that she could never do it again, and that this possibly could be the reason why this happened. Okay, they didn't say this is, but they said it could possibly be the reason. So I thought, well, spontaneous pneumothorax means it just happens out of the blue. So let's find out more about this. You know why? Because I've heard of spontaneous pneumothorax before. I've heard of it happening to people who have certain genetic conditions. So I was just thinking, well, what are the reasons why people get spontaneous pneumothorax? Primary spontaneous pneumothorax occurs in people without any underlying lung disease or any trauma. So it's not like a result from something going into your lung. I mean, like a knife or something that makes a hole. Predominantly disease of young adults. Well, that's interesting. Age 20 to 30 years. Okay, she was 18. Causes apical blebs, stature, familial, and smoking. What this means is apical blebs. Now, that's really interesting. This is something that happens to some people with their lungs, where they have like these little sacs that burst. It's like a sort of structural defect. Stature is because it happens to people who are tall and thin, especially males. Familial, meaning there's like a genetic component. And smoking, meaning that smoking can increase the risk. What this tells me is that it is possible for young people to develop spontaneous pneumothorax just randomly because of some of these things, including apical blebs, which they could just have and then they can just rupture. But it's also possible that, smoking makes it worse. This girl had been smoking. So it is possible that if you already have this going on, so you don't know you have it until it happens. But if you're at risk for this and you vape, it's possible that vaping could make it worse. But they haven't proven it. You see what I'm saying? Like for a person, my age, with no history of any of this kind of stuff, I mean, assuming I don't have some hidden condition, smoking or vaping probably won't give me spontaneous pneumothorax. But it's really dangerous for teens, because if you're young and you don't know what you've got and you smoke or you vape, this would increase your risk if you're one of these people, Anyway, so that's like what I found out. I want to make it clear I'm not like advocating vaping. I don't know how anyone could construe that, but I know how it is these days on YouTube, and so I just really want to make it clear this is just for information purposes. I'm not recommending that people pick up vaping, especially teens. Actually recommend against it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just want to get that nice and clear. And the purpose of this video was just to look at this and to share with you the fact that I found out something very interesting, which is that there are certain people out there who, probably because of their genetics, are susceptible to these apical blebs, little bags in their lungs, like these little defects that burst and put air where it shouldn't be, which then causes spontaneous pneumothorax. And these people are more susceptible to having this happen if they smoke or possibly vape. So that's it. I thought that was very interesting. I hope you got something out of it. So thank you for your support on Patreon, because probably can't run an ad again. That's it, and thanks for listening to me. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next time.